PD Crime Stoppers.
Alex, you're chasing a story that goes back to 1973 when a New Jersey state trooper was murdered on the job, and one of the men convicted in this murder has been ordered by the courts to be released from prison. What do you got?
Well, Trooper Warner Forster, you see him here. He was murdered alongside the New Jersey Turnpike in 1973. Two people were convicted for their involvement in that murder. Joanne Chesimard, who, as we all remember, is a fugitive from justice and living in Cuba. The other one, Clark Edward Squire, also known as Sundiata Acoli, and he's still in prison, but an appeals court ordered him released just last year. The Attorney General's office is fighting to keep Acoli in jail, and he's still there because they filed a stay until this gets heard by the New Jersey Supreme Court. But, you know, a person that a lot of people aren't talking about is this man, Robert Glenn Simmons. He was shot in the back by Acoli and a group of men who tried to break out of the Trenton State Prison in 1976. He was married to this woman, Margaret Simmons, who we talked to last fall about her husband and the pain he went through his arduous recovery until his death in 2010.
March 3rd, I met with the prosecutor's office, and we went over a lot of facts in detail, and the meeting was very productive. They seem like they're going to be very helpful.
In 1976, Acoli and the men he was with were charged with this prison breakout, but the case against them fell apart. Part of the reason for it, the fact that they thought this guy was going to rot in prison because he was sentenced to life. Now with the possibility that he could be released after the Supreme Court hears the appeal, the prosecutor's office is working to see if his actions in any way contributed to the death of Robert Glenn Simmons. And the tragic part of all this, in order to make a case, even if the medical records come through in the favor of Margaret Simmons, she's probably going to have her husband exhumed to get the bullet out of his back.
She's got to relive this pain all over again. Now, there's no statute of limitations on murder, so they can charge him with murder.
Absolutely.
If they decide that was the cause.
Yeah, and you know, something else about this case that really struck me, the Simmons family has a weird intertwined nature with Joanne Chesimard and Acoli. Robert Glenn Simmons' next posting after Trenton State Prison was Edna Mahan Correctional Facility in Clinton, where Joanne Chesimard escaped from.
When we're talking about Joanne Chesimard, we're talking about the first woman on the FBI most wanted list. You think President Obama would put her at the top of the list, as that would be the reason why they would reopen relations with Cuba. It's unbelievable that they haven't. She is a cop killer, after all. A New Jersey state trooper died because of this woman.
I hope that at least this, no matter which way it goes, it opens up the discussion. And I don't want to have the debate here, but opens up the discussion of bringing back the death penalty.